Hello everyone and welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns! So today we have the A Link to the Past No Major Glitch League Season 4 Eastern Palace Division Round 1 match between RadicalSniper and Bread-kun. So on commentary we will have the NGM and secretly a Sliver. And yeah, have a good race.
So I hope everybody's managed to cool down from half an hour ago when we finished up the Jim versus Bitey match. That one was interesting. A couple of runners turning in sub 120 times. We've got a couple of runners here who are also hoping to turn in sub 120 times. Got Jesse on your left and Breb on your right. I am my DM, and Sean, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, just coming off of comms from a randomizer race, so trying to keep my voice going for the rest of the day.
So you're going to be the one who's going to have rando brain for this. I see how it is. Better you than the runners, right?
Right. So I don't remember what Jesse's time was for the qualifiers. I believe it was a high 118 and Bread's was a low 120, so fairly similar times.
I've got the qualifier link here. Jesse with a 1:18:11, which is what's showing on his timer there. We, on our commentary side, get to see our runners' screens, and Bread with a 1:20:18.
So just about 2 minutes of difference. But this is a race. Anything can happen. It's not over until Pig is dead.
Yep, it is not at all like PB hunting where you say, oh, well, I had Death to Ball and Chain Guard. I'm just going to restart from the beginning. I just fell to Moldorm a couple times. Alright, that's a reset. Now, well, that Vidi Death, yeah, run it. Not so much. This is a race, and you still want to get through the pig before your opponent, which means all those potential reset points, yeah, we're not going to have those.
I don't believe you, my NDM. I don't think anybody has ever fallen on Moldorm. Especially not in vanilla preset. I don't think it's possible.
It might not be, but you know what they say, rando gonna rando. Maybe we'll see it today.
So for those of you wondering what are the differences here in vanilla preset versus vanilla NMG, you might notice Zelda didn't really have a lot to say at the beginning. Why was that, Randy?
Well, amongst some of the other rando quality of life upgrades that are included in the vanilla preset ROM, we've stripped out most of the text boxes. Uncle has one, Blind has one, Ganon has 3. There are some other ones that you could run into if you're particularly unfortunate or you decide to kind of go wandering around a little bit, but by and large, those are the ones you should expect to see. Also, once our runners have some items, we'll see some quick swap action going on, which enables some interesting strats later on in the run, which hopefully we'll get to see here coming up in about an hour.
Yeah, so I see some chatter in chat that boss RNG is fixed, which is true, and is more useful if you're PB hunting, but in a race environment, we're reseeding all the RNGs, so our runners do not know what the RNGs are going to be, but they will be the same for both runners. And I don't think that's Zelda music coming from Red Stream INDM. What is that?
Also included in the rando quote-unquote quality of life differences would be the ability to use different sprites. As you can see, we've got Hollow Knight and something with a... I'm not entirely sure what that helmet is, but we'll go with it. And MSUs, of course.
That is Decidueye. That is a Pokemon from Generation 6. Or maybe 7.
Fair enough. I was just figuring it had a melon on its head for some reason. Maybe it does just have a melon on its head for some reason. I don't know.
No, that is green feathers that's supposed to resemble a helmet, like an archer's leather cap.
Okay.
So, a little bit about our runners. Jesse, of course, been around for years in the rando community. Started doing NMG a few years ago. Was in at least the last NMG League Season 3. I believe he was also part of Season 2. Bread, though, brand new to Speedrun. Just casually dropped a 120 on like his first or second run, which is very, very good, enough to make our Eastern Palace bracket.
Eastern Palace really does seem to have a wide assortment of different runners. I'm in this one as well, and you can see if you happen to go to the site and see what the Eastern Palace's times were. I think we got as low as a high 117 all the way up to a 123 and a half. So there is a lot of diversity of experience here. That, like you were saying, Bread has not been at this very long. Jesse and I have been at it for a handful of years now. He's taken it maybe a little more seriously than I have, and plenty of other runners besides.
So, Keyrat not posing very many problems. It's just the rat on top of the Keyrat that did the little get down Mr. President maneuver.
Yeah, that can be more of a problem when he also drops an item, and then you have to make sure that your boomerang has acquired lock on the correct thing. I have definitely walked away with a rupee before, and yeah, then you get to go back.
And so Jesse out of escape at 5:19, which is a solid time. Anything below 5:20 is definitely a time I would take. And Bread just about 15 seconds behind there with a 5:34. Bread had an incident on the ball and chain guard where he aggroed the green guard, so he had some extra stuff to deal with while also trying to hang desperately onto that last half a heart.
It's a whole lot faster to spend a couple of seconds and make sure that you don't die than have to walk all the way back down there. That's a little slow and time consuming, just a little bit.
Okay, just getting the blue rupee drop, so that's probably the last Dr. Rock he's gonna kill for a while. Maybe not. Gotta make a liar out of me immediately. So, based on the way that the prize pack drops for the rupees, there's a room in the back of Eastern Palace that has 6 popos in it, that you want one of them to spawn a red rupee, and by making sure that you're on the green rupee drop, you actually maximize the probability that you're going to get a red rupee in that room. Something like 56% to drop in your lap.
Interesting. I just kind of chop them down willy-nilly as they get in my way, and that red rupee, for me, tends to happen more around the dark square room. Which is perhaps a little early.
And I don't quite remember, but I believe Bread gets Saha rupees. I believe he robs the old man, so he's not that concerned about which rupees drop where. I know Jesse does harvest them from trees.
Yeah, Jesse's a tree puller for sure.
So Eastern Palace is going to be largely the same. You get to save about a second because you don't have to menu to the bow. You can just quick swap to it after you get it, but this is basically the same as you're going to see in a normal NMG run.
And even most of the light world will remain generally the same. You'll see a little quick swappage here to save menu time. Here and there, you can get to the book freely, so on and so forth. The mirror when you're going to Tower of Hera. But I feel it's really once you get into the Dark World and you start filling up the inventory that quick swap starts to shine.
Yeah, I think in Hera there's some boomerang strats that you can do. I don't know if either runner does them. But you can make Hera about 3 seconds faster by using the boomerang in certain spots.
Both of our runners on into the back here, having acquired the bow, going to pick up some sticks here. Bread, not canceling his stair lag there.
Yeah, so when you go up or down a spiral staircase as missed by Jesse here, it's going to let Bread catch up a little bit. When you go up or down a spiral staircase, Link's speed is still the same as if he were on the stairs for about 3 to 5 frames afterwards, and you can reset his movement speed to his normal movement speed by pressing either cardinal left or cardinal right as you exit this staircase. And very nice normal skills on both sides.
Yeah, easy fight. Both runners have done this hundreds of times, at least. But not that necessarily means a lot. I feel like we saw Bitey have to go to a bit of a backup strat earlier, so even once you've done it thousands of times, every once in a while it can just get a little squirrely on you. And Jesse's gonna rob the old man. Look at this, just casually robbing the dude of everything he's got.
Well, you know, money does grow on trees in this game, but bombs unfortunately do not, so... Possible he might be grabbing those bombs to use a little bit later. And Bread is actually not robbing the old man. Looks like he will harvest money from the trees. I wonder if getting the red rupee in Eastern came into play there. I did ask both runners, for the question in chat, I did ask both runners before the race what they prefer to do first. They do not go to Swamp before going to Mire. They both go to Mire first. But I think I can answer that question as an early Swamp runner. You don't actually need those bombs because you save 2 bombs in Ice Palace, so you actually have extra bombs, and you can even skip one along the way as long as you harvest bombs the same as you do in vanilla NMG. You'll still have plenty of bombs for Swamp Palace. Bit of an unfortunate aggro there for Bread. Yes, that's what I meant as well. Because you don't need the bombs for Ice Palace, you can use them in Swamp first. You can use them in Swamp instead.
Imagine understanding what all of these numbers are supposed to be. I just kind of push the buttons for a little while, and eventually the game ends. Bomb counts, arrow counts, rupee counts. Yeah, no.
Yeah, Jesse is a little low on
it. So conversant.
Jesse is a little low on arrows. I wonder if he's gonna get the arrows before Landmo. 23 is about the borderline where you know that if you get the perfect 12 shots, you'll only have 11 left, which is fine-ish until it's not.
Because backtracking through here after Big Key, there's 5 under that pot, and then 10 in Switch Room before the glove.
Yeah, so you pick up a total of 20 in the entire dungeon. But 23, it depends on how confident Jesse is with landing exactly 12 arrows into land modes, because you still won't have 8 for Agate Tower.
Now, I did see the backup strat to that earlier as well, where one runner went in with insufficient sticks and just used beams on that first guard after the spin.
Yes, so that's a little slower. It's, I think, about a second slower, because you need 2 more sword slashes than bow shots. But it does preserve your arrows so that you don't need to, say, get the shame arrows in mod, or have to do the backup arrows on DMD or something like that, which are both slower than just doing the sword beam strat.
It does appear that Jesse is pulling ever so slightly ahead, mostly on the strength of maybe a little cleaner movement, even though he has already taken the time to rob the old man and Bread hasn't, so Bread's still going to have to find some rupees. Which, I don't know, maybe is what we expect given the relative difference in their PBs, but again, we know that Bread is so new to this that PB may not really be indicative of true skill. There may be another couple of minutes in there that he just kind of has in the tank. I don't know how much of this he ran in advance.
Yeah, I believe somebody has already put up like a 5-minute PB from their qualifier in this league already, so you never know why we play the games.
That wouldn't happen to be one Bressingham, would it?
I believe it was.
Shockingly enough.
GG to his opponent, who also almost PB'd on that race.
Did not almost PB on that race. That wasn't even close.
Oh, you had like a 122 4x or something.
Something like that.
Close.
It's there. I just have to go fetch it.
Bread getting hung up on the Sandman and afraid of the cactus there. Should have kept going, Bread. You weren't in any danger.
He was clean on that second dash, and he just he didn't believe.
Well, Jesse trying to swim without the flippers. What's up with this?
Well, he's going to swim without the flippers sooner or later, but he's going to need to get onto the right pixel first. He still needs to be one more to the left for this to work. There you go.
And a few pixels off as well. Does end up getting there a little faster.
This trick is one of the more finicky, I guess. In the early run, I had a lot of trouble ever managing to figure out how that goes, and as you can see, both runners really well accomplished. Sub 120 time on one side, very nearly on the other, and both of them just kind of get a little hung up on it. There are ways to try and make it work out. You kind of hope that the pickles don't get in your way, and if you do, you go to backup strats, and you're really trying to line up on the cliff face there versus slashing or lifting the bush, and then transitioning that movement into a diagonal upright, and It sounds insane, and it kind of is, but then it just kind of makes sense eventually, and then it works.
Oh, did he get deadrocked again?
I believe he did.
Oh, Jesse. All right, well, like we said, like we will say a couple more times, anything can happen in races, and that's about 16 seconds of time lost there for Jesse, and Jesse showing off probably why he got those bombs to bomb climb that ladder. It is marginally fast to do it that way, but you do have the added risk of taking a heart of damage if you don't get the perfect bomb throw.
Or you wind up not actually saving time by throwing the bomb away too early, or etc., etc. It's... I won't go so far as to say it's a cursed strat, necessarily, but it's not free.
So seeing some of these boom strats that I was mentioning before in Hera, Bread just missing it by about a few frames. I believe he was about 15 frames off of getting perfect dash there. Bread a little low on cash and doing the swag boom dash strat here instead of just using an arrow.
And Jesse's going to expend another one of his bombs instead, but he's not going to sit on the pegs. Both of our runners having separate little adventures, one in the Tower of Hera overworld split, one early in Tower of Hera trying to do those boomerang strats that you were talking about. And we're back within a couple of frames here, heading into Hera Basement for the big key.
And we're about half a room transition apart, so about a second and a quarter.
See what kind of strats we get in the Hard Hat Beetles room here. They're both going to go for the cool kid strat, and it doesn't look like it's really cooperating for either of them.
Yeah, it looked like Bread was a little too low, and Jesse just didn't get the RNG for it. Bread very smartly identifying that he is at 2 hearts, and he's going to need a refill before Moldorm.
Or at the very least would like to have a refill before Moldorm. Also, clearing out a couple of those mini Moldorms gives him at least a chance to have reduced a little of the lag on the screen there. That jump can feel a little questionable at times, I feel, on that screen.
So, killing the Moldorms isn't actually what causes the lag on the screen. It's loading the Kadongo on the left side.
Interesting.
So he has a 25% chance to appear, and then on top of that, he has, I believe, a 50-50 chance of shooting fire to the wrong side. So,
Today I learned.
all in all, you have about an 8% chance that Kadongo messes up your bomb jump. Sometimes I don't notice it. Very, very nice Moldorm play by Jesse. Oh, and Bread taking a dive. Well, I've been told that sometimes that happens. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard that. Somebody said
anybody
it.
personally who has maybe on Thursday night that took a dive there. So, if you're watching Bread dashing through the Moldorm here, what he's doing is actually taking his sword off of the Moldorm, which causes him to be knocked out of the Moldorm's hit. So you can actually dash and get a nice little poke on the tail there. Alright, well he didn't do my strat of following the Moldorm and then dying. So, good job on Brett's side. Jesse just running and getting his Master Sword. Rupee's already in hand, he doesn't need any more. Brett's gonna have to pull some trees, but will gets a skip a red, I believe.
I don't know, you're the rupee counter.
I believe if he gets 3 blues, then he can skip a red.
Did he just shoot that rupee with an arrow?
I believe he was going for that bird.
Well, he definitely shot the bird the second time. But I think the first arrow hit the rupee and disappeared.
It's possible that it got sprite deleted. I believe he picked up the rupee before shooting another arrow. So, both runners picking up the mushroom here. If you're doing Mire first, I'd probably just take the extra 2 seconds and pick up the mushroom, because you can get a very, very easy fake powder at the top of Misery Mire. Or I guess that's the basement, but... Anyway.
Well, you're climbing back up, so it's not really the basement at that point.
I'd just like to know how they constructed a basement in a full-on swamp.
Creative use of the golden power?
Yeah?
That's the best answer I got. If somebody else has a better one, I'm willing to hear it.
But yeah, Bread just getting all the rupees there. I assume it's because he doesn't want to have to do math. Jesse is just cutting through Agate Tower here. Picked up some extra arrows, so I believe he got an arrow drop from the beetle room.
I think he did, yeah.
So we're pretty good now after maybe worrying a little bit in Desert House.
And he has gone down the half a heart, so he doesn't have to worry about beams ruining his day in that room.
Yeah, so that's kind of a double-edged sword there, because not having beams in the key guard room is easier, but having beams in the next room, in the pitchfork guard room, is easier, because the beams will aggro those guards to you and put you in the position that you can easily shoot them.
I'm not going to pretend that I ever have beams for this dungeon, so today I learned, I guess, but something that I'm probably not going to be able to make much use of. Jesse coming up on Aga 1. This will be pretty free and easy. One of those rando quality of life things specifically for the vanilla preset run is there are no blue balls.
Another rando quality of life thing is that they took all the flashing out, which is a-okay in my book. It doesn't really add to anything. It doesn't really reduce lag or affect the game at all. Just take it down.
It's just a little nicer on the eyes.
Jesse doing a nice little shimmy around Aga 1 here. As we'll get the 6th hit in and start the Dark Hole.
Yeah, Bread's going to start up one of the advantages of this. You could have gone ahead and watched as your opponent did this and know where you need to hit the wizard. Generally, at least at my level, I feel like I'm going to lose too much time trying to get through the rooms I need to get through if I'm trying to pay attention to something else too, but theoretically it's a thing you could do.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't really like to watch my opponent while they're racing. Theoretically, if you're behind, you can get an advantage, but like, I don't really like to look and see that I'm behind. So. I'm doing a little focus with Aga.
Jesse says Gee. Hi, Jesse. Now, I have heard tell of some mildly alternate routes for Pod here, and it looks like Jesse may be opting in for one of them.
Yeah, so this is what's called Pod Old Route. Since you don't need to farm very many bombs, mirroring a bunch of times is not necessarily ideal. So in the normal NMG speedrun, you'll see people mirror a bunch because you need to have 6 bombs exiting the dungeon. You don't necessarily need that many, and there are some alternate places to pick up as well. So yeah, Jesse is doing the old route and the route that is still used in randomizer races. Now there's some other alternate routing that is new that
Hovering
that
nonsense.
we may see during this league and we may not. Yes, hovering nonsense indeed. I think Aries the only one that I've seen that's been able to pull it off, as Jesse is. There we go. Nice hammer up there by Jesse. As he eventually did get to the right fix.
Yeah, if it takes a few extra menu buffers, at least it's not having to reset the room. Resetting the room is slow.
It's slow, and he didn't farm any bombs on the way, so he doesn't really have very many extra to play with. And Jesse opting for the normal sword beam strat instead of the newfangled heart skip. So because of quick swap, you can actually go to pod basement without full health. Normally you want full health because you'll have sword beams to hit the switch, and when you don't have quick swap, that saves you a second or so getting into it'll save you a second or so getting in and out of the menu, but you do save about, I believe it's just short of 2 seconds by skipping the hearts under the pots there. Pearl's not cooperating for Jesse here, as Bread is going to do this hammer dash that is now possible because of quick swap. Unfortunately, lost all the time that he saved because he hit the switch.
Having some adventures in archery there as well, apparently.
Yeah, opting for some extra arrows there with the boomerang. I'm not 100% familiar with how the Mire route gets their gets enough arrows, but that was probably necessary to pick up. He was at 1 after killing the 3rd Mimic.
And some of it maybe is a bit of a rando main. Bread just says, I've got these arrows here and my resources are low. I should probably pick them up.
And I looked away from Jesse's screen for 2 seconds and the Helmosaur's already dead.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
Bread-kun doing another popular randomizer strat in the Helmosaur here. Blowing up 2 bombs, so that you only have to do 12 hammer hits instead of 17.
Something that regular NMG would never even consider. It's a quick swap enabled trick. And even then, I don't think it actually saves time? Question mark?
It's about half a second slower. I guess there might be a way to like time it perfectly that you're getting spin speed while the bombs are blowing up. And it's also RNG dependent, because if Helma decides to move left-right at the same time, then, you know, you miss your bomb and then you have to do those hammer hits anyway.
Yep. Bread getting a little bullied by the guards here at the peg dash.
Yeah, that's just one of those screens, at least for me, that you just survive through it. I know most people have it automatic, but I am not very good at item dashes.
Item dashing is difficult.
Jesse, meanwhile, activating his flute and making his way to Thieves Town here.
Nice super speed off the stairs there. I feel like I always miss that a couple of times before I get it.
Yeah.
Bread making it look easy.
It is a bit finicky, because there's a pixel that you can hit that it will give you the speed, but I feel like if you go too far up, then you don't get your super speed. So you have to either exit the stairs and try it again, or just go up to the next little rung on the ladder.
It feels like Thieves Town just doesn't take all that long, at least to get through the front half. So you blink and you've just missed 4 screens.
Yeah, Thieves Town is... there are a lot of extraneous rooms in Thieves Town that, if you know where you're going, you just never have to go there. Jesse just missing getting hit by that grasshopper there. Oh. Bread branding a little bit. You don't need that chest, bud.
Well, he does now. Jesse with mitts and no tiles. Nicely done. Bread, meanwhile, is having a little bit of an adventure here in the Hellway, down to a heart and a half.
Yeah, he's got to be a little careful here in Attic, because those grasshoppers do 2 hearts. Oh, from the blind side.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the bomb didn't even go off, so he's going to have to backtrack all the way up.
Meanwhile, Jesse looking for a little cash infusion to use later on.
Yeah, it's funny, you really only need 10 rupees right now, but you're going to need several hundred later, so, well, it may as well pick it up while you're in the area, right? Couldn't hurt.
I mean, these people just leave cash, like cash stores, just laying around in their houses. Doesn't seem like a thing a very successful thief would do.
I kind of wish those weren't there, and that it would then be viable somehow to play the archery game instead. That would be more fun.
Tried getting revenge on those grasshoppers for earlier.
Well deserved, I'd say. Now, as for the rest of the 300s, there's one on Johnny Two Bombs, there's one on the NPC in Mini Moldorm Cave, is that right?
Right. There is a 5th one, though.
There's a 5th one, and I don't remember where it is.
Jesse would probably know, because he's a 100% player sometimes, and I know need to know those backup rupee strats to successfully navigate 100% sometimes.
See, I figure what we should do is we should say the wrong location, because then somebody in chat will correct us.
Gonna say Paradox Cave. That's the other one.
See, that feels like a really reasonable guess, just since it has so many items in it. Jesse's going for the old-fangled drop into the pit and have iframes to walk through the bag of plantains here.
Yeah, so it's technically using Quick Swap to go to mirror and then mirroring out gives you a chance to save 20 frames depending on the RNG of the Ropa as you enter. Because if you have to swing your sword, then you just burn all of the frames you saved by mirroring out. But there is at least one RNG, if not 2, where you can just walk around that Ropa and then you can keep those frames. So something that we didn't mention when Jesse got it, but I'm now reminded of now that Bread's about to do it. One of the changes from vanilla to the rando preset here is that you don't need to enter the Smith's house 3 times. Oh, Jesse taking a death here on the moth.
Ooh, yeah, the moth's room there, I think, got him more than the moth did. Also, speaking of the whole picking up the smith thing, you don't need to mirror right in front of the smith's house here. Because you don't have to leave the entire screen to convince the smiths that they're actually done with your sword. You can just drop the mirror portal on the left-hand side of those large blocks and never have to lift one. And now Jesse's going to have to go through the long, slow slog of clearing out all of these things because he's going to need a little magic. And there we go, he's back on the full magic drop easy game.
Thought that Moldorm hit might put him in danger for that bunny beam, but he got past it. And Moth Round 2 goes fairly smoothly.
Generally, the fewer spikes that have disappeared, the better, but at this point, any moth fight you can walk away from is one you're going to take.
Yeah, Moth kind of, on the second fight there, kind of took a bad turn for RNG purposes. Really was sticking to the top of the room there. Alright, Jesse about to go get his Ether Medallion, because he is looking to go to Misery Mire, because he wants that Cane of Samaria. There's a couple tricks that you're allowed to do in preset that you're not allowed to do in vanilla NMG. And they both use the Cane of Samaria, so getting it as early as possible is probably best.
Perhaps the most creatively broken item in the entire game.
Alright, Jesse escaping Death Mountain with sword beams and a frozen bird down there. Wonder if that bird's gonna take a swim. No, Jesse's no fun.
No, super serious, that one.
Doing a very quick moth fire by Bread.
Yeah, it kind of wandered off to the left a little bit, but stayed far enough away from the spikes that he could get his hits in. It worked out pretty well for him.
Got a couple fortunate bounces off the spikes as well. So Moth is normally immune to spike damage, but if it touches the spikes for a short amount of time, and then after that short amount of time it's in the middle, it'll still take the damage. I'm not 100% on the actual timings of it.
All I know is, as we say in Rando, the moth cheats.
Moth does cheat. They actually had to uncheat the Moth for randomizer races because back in the day, there used, like, if you had Gold Sword, that could make your seed uncompletable because you couldn't damage Mothula at all.
Because you'd be doing class 4 damage with the Butter Sword, which is spike damage. Now, technically,
I guess that would make it a fire rod fight.
somehow.
But...
Yeah, fire rod fight. Fire Rod Hammer.
Yeah, you could also dash poke him with the sword, but it just made that fight just absolutely horrible, so they patched it out. A little extra shopping here from Bread. That may have... The missing heart may have something to do with this extra shopping trip. I wonder if he's trying to farm some hearts here.
Yeah, he'll have an opportunity from a 50-50 bush up by the catfish, the crabs being in the hearts pool as well. It's literally a couple of chances. Survives the potential lotto there, which would have put him down 2 more hearts.
Jesse, meanwhile, just running through Misery Mire here, taking his cutscene, getting an extra heart drop from the Wizrobe, which was always nice.
Bread going to all the trouble to bonk to set up the quick warp, and then moved to catch the medallion, and then moved in the other direction. Just, it seemed a completely arbitrary number of pixels, so just kind of hoping and praying to hit it.
Sometimes your thumb rolls over while you're trying to get that nice cardinal up, especially if you have a nice mushy D-pad like I do. Jesse having some trouble here hitting Spooky 2. Looked like he wasn't high enough on either shot. Gonna have to do it the slow way.
What is that sacrifice? 10-ish seconds, I think?
2 and Spooky 2 is about 8, and Spooky 3 is about 3, so yeah, 11, 12, something like that. Ooh, Jesse off script for Vitreous now.
Still has enough hearts that it ought to work out for him as long as nothing too untoward happens. Yeah, he can just arrow this last eye, and here, away we go. Phase 2.
Yeah, and Bread not being at full health. Looks like he's gonna take a left turn into Swamp Palace here. Though he doesn't have any bombs to do Diver down, so...
Now he does.
Oh!
Vanilla bombs.
Alright, Jesse gonna do some additional shopping here.
Pretty much the same things that Bread just got done doing.
Yep, except his route will end in Ice Palace instead of Swamp.
That was a really nice fireball dodge by Bread. I absolutely would have just eaten that one to the back of the dome.
Jesse not even taking a chance with the lottery there, just taking a few extra steps up and making sure he hits that ropa with his sword.
That's not gonna work. Bread, you are short something.
Yeah, it's another rando brain, so... Question in chat, is this an All Dungeons Aga 1 seed? Yes, but it's also a no logic seed.
Just happens to have rolled such that you don't have to do any major glitches. And in fact, are not allowed to do any major glitches.
So, Jesse about to go onto this screen with the whirlpool here in Ice Palace. So this is actually why I like the Swamp First better, because in this screen you can get blocked by that Zora, and then you just lose a couple of seconds, and also you could take a hit. I mean, there's just a lot of things that can go wrong on that screen, and doing Swamp First just skips that screen entirely.
There's that, and it's nice to have the hook shot in here. When you're getting through the Spike U room, you can just hook across and save the heart, and then probably you have beams for Cold Stare.
So Jesse took an extra fire drop shot. So I wonder if that means he's going to go up and hit the switch. So that means he's down a bit of magic. I guess he can try to farm the Pen Gators here in the next room. But he does need to refill some magic here.
Yeah, he does have that boomerang out, so assuming that they drop one, he's got a shot at it. Yeah, he seems to be working very much toward finding some magic here, and he is not getting any drop luck.
Okay, well, that one small magic should be enough, assuming he doesn't use any more additional magic here. Has a nice icebreaker there. That is one of the huge differences, and why you definitely want to go and get Canis Samaria before entering Ice Palace. Just makes routing this dungeon a heck of a lot easier.
So we'll probably see Jesse do this trick that Bread's about to do with the Cane of Samaria instead of the bombs, but here's Bomb Diver down. Oh, and the bot says no.
Looks like Bread was a little bit too low when he was jumping out of that water there. Finally does get the right pixel. You know, I still have not found a consistent way to dodge that freezer on the way to the big key door.
You just hold up left out of the door. Really?
It doesn't work all the time. It does work sometimes. A bit of a juggling 6-slash there by Etsy, but it ends up working out. They didn't go too far away from each other. As we see Bread taking on Argus here. We get 2 Fire Rod shots and a spin. And we're going to start retracing each other's steps here.
Yep, Jesse with the swamp left clear. Bread's still going to have to get through the mire and the ice. Did he do ice?
He did not.
That's what I thought, because he didn't have Kane yet. It's so easy to get lost when you have the different routes.
Ooh, just 1 pixel too high there for Bread.
Still managed to avoid taking any damage, though.
Unfortunately, that is not a tossable bird.
I don't think anybody's tossing that bird. I'm not entirely certain you could pick it up from there. Maybe you could?
I don't think you could. And here's a nice little 1-second time save just by having the hook shot in that. All made possible by quick swap. Most of the tiny time saves inside the dungeons are made possible by quick swap.
And all of the big time saves in the dungeons are brought to you by the lack of text boxes. We've just kind of excised all of the chatty maidens.
Yeah, they do like to exposit a bit, don't they?
Ever so slightly. If you're wondering where most of the 10 minutes comes from, that's where it is.
It's interesting. Is that because you get stuck on the corner? I'm trying to just rack my brain here because I can't fire up my SNES and test
You
it.
can't exactly fire up the practice hack right this second, yeah. And see, that's what I'm wondering, because I feel like I just kind of hold the upright and go, and it works, and any time that I'm just kind of yutzing around in the door thinking about rando things, then that's when it doesn't work for me.
Okay, switch to right when you clear the rail.
Switch to right when you clear the rail. Okay, that makes sense.
Alright, Bread getting his glitch stick out of the big chest of mire here. It's like, Bread's not even gonna try for spookies. He wants a fake powder now.
That seems like a bit of a choice, okay. Going for the dark mire basement strat in the light. And it's a fun little quick swap enabled kind of trick. I don't know that it actually saves time when you can see what you're doing, but if you can't see what you're doing, it does exactly the same thing every time, and you can count on actually having a Samaria block holding the switch down in the dark.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably around the second to second and a half slower than just, you know, dashing over and walking down. And Jesse showing off how to do diver down with Samaria instead of bombs.
One of the two ways, the quote-unquote rando way, the other you put it on the left-hand side and you do shenanigans with directional inputs and sword slashes, and then suddenly you get to clip through the rail.
So that actually is used in, I believe, all dungeons RMG is where that trick is used.
I believe you're correct by that. Pitcherius down for Bread. Argus phase 1 halfway through-ish for Jesse. Gonna get one cycle here. Trying to get himself hit by Argus on the way up. Managed to avoid it by probably a frame rule.
I don't know, Argus's hitbox is kind of negotiable at times.
Well, the arrow certainly seems to think so.
Bread opting for Ice Rod before Ice Palace. I wonder if that's because he's going to Water Walk down.
Yeah, it's possible to Water Walk down. I don't know that it saves time.
It doesn't. Okay, he is going to flip back to 8 here. I've definitely seen people water walk, and yeah, that's one of the things I did actually test during this qualifier season, and it really just wastes time. Jesse on his way to Turtle Rock as Bread makes his way through Ice Palace here. Jesse ahead for the moment, but like we said, anything can happen in races.
And not only that, but you saw the Dead Rocks trying to start giving the business again. He's still got a few more of those to get through as well.
And just opts to take the damage from that Dead Rock rather than try to slash it or hook it. I think he's fully given in to the Dead Rock. He has embraced the Dead Rock.
At least now he's out from around them. Now it's rollers and pokies and chain jumps and other nonsense.
Oh, you mean those things that do 4 hearts of damage each?
Yeah, those things.
Oh, and let's not forget the berries, which you do not want to slash, because if they electrify, then it can knock you off your platform.
And they know, I would swear they read your inputs.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
No,
they're
those berries,
absolutely
those berries
kind
100% cheat.
It's not unheard of in Zelda games. Just go play Zelda 2. There are enemies in there that will 100% just read what you're putting in on the D-pad.
Yeah, Jesse being down a couple hearts is just gonna mirror out. This is also another thing that I've tested because I thought that Quick Swap would take out a little bit of the downside of it, but it's still slower by about the same amount of time.
What, mirroring from the small key grab?
Yeah. And Jesse using his sword beams there to dance around the chain chomps. Very nice. As now Britt is going to head to the mountain. Oh yeah, the floating skulls.
Which I think do 3 hearts of damage. I don't think they do 4. It's still a lot, though.
Everything in this dungeon just does so much damage. And if you get off script in that room, like Jesse just did, yeah, just pulling out your fire rod and doing it the novice way is more likely to get you through the room than by trying hard, as they say sometimes. Plus, you're not exactly hurting for magic at any point in this dungeon.
Bread going to join Jesse and Turtle Rock here. That was cute. It can't possibly save time, but I was amused. Bread not opting for the hookshot strat in that room. I don't necessarily disagree. It took me a long time to feel even minimally comfortable with that.
He's also already down 4 hearts, and I'm not 100% that he got his fairy skip. Oh, yes he did.
Apparently he did. Now we know. Looks like he got mildly more aggressive chomps, which actually helped him in this case. Didn't have to worry about dodging right chomp as he went for the small key in the chest.
Let's go blow up a turtle.
Turtle which has 2 snakes popping out of its back because of reasons.
I believe it has 3 necks, does it not?
In fact, it does. But 3 necks, 2 necks, 1 neck, no necks at all, 1 heart container. Jesse gets to leave Turtle Rock.
Alright, all we have left is GT and Ganon. I mean, it's only the hardest dungeon in the entire game. Only GT.
There are a lot of ways to lose time in this dungeon. I can say that from first-hand experience. I have probably done all of them.
Doing a little hook shot to that pot there. If that does save time, it's only probably a handful of frames. And then you have to recast the platform. So I'm not sure that that's worth it, but it's a fun little thing.
Jesse continuing to collect small keys here. You do need a handful of them to get through this dungeon.
Well, step 1 is don't open the middle door. Getting a little icy over on Bread's side as Jesse opens up what is known as Mike's chest in NMG and Bob's chest in Randomizer for those 10 arrows, so that he doesn't have to get the ones after the big key. He can just mirror right out and go on to climb.
Yeah, if you're waiting for the bomb to go off anyway, you may as well take advantage of that time and go ahead and make sure your stick count is decent. Now, if you go for one of the faster bomb strats in that room, then, well, there's a super serious try-hard strat where you can still collect that chest anyway. I've seen it done. It looks fantastic and impossible.
Yeah, so I've actually been workshopping a strat where you actually bomb yourself to make sure you don't take damage from the anti-fairy. Slightly slower, but it's a lot more consistent. And if you get hit by the anti-fairy, then you need to recover that magic somehow. Or you just need to get a good Lammo 2 pattern that doesn't require you to do 6 fire rod shots.
Well, at that point, why don't you just go for the strat that Bitey showed off earlier and pray for good RNG and try the user spin? You save all the magic in the world doing that.
Yeah, you sure do, and you save a good 2 seconds not having to refill your magic after Torches 1. That is highly RNG dependent, though. Maybe not highly, but it's also very skill dependent, and I do not have those sorts of skills as of yet.
Speaking of Lammo 2, Jesse going to start the fight right about now. Bit of a short hop on the south Lammo, but manages to get through.
Oh man, I was excited. I thought he was going to kill the Wizreps with knowledge.
It's kind of like blinding them with science, just not quite.
Jesse not panicking, taking the hit from that fire bar and staying on the bridge. As long as you don't press any other directionals than up, then you can just take that hit and stay on the bridge and not take the fall.
Yeah, the same thing if you're a little slow coming out the left-hand side, you can continue holding cardinal left, and if you happen to be late on your exit, you'll still be fine. At the cost of a heart, of course.
Bread with big key in hand will now begin the climb. Jesse getting a nice damage boost from that anti-fairy and recovering the magic from that full refill there that he was going to get anyway. Moldarm being a little mean.
Uncooperative worm is uncooperative, film at 11. Red not getting the dash strat through the spike room there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if it's possible when you hookshot to the pot like that. You have to dash up to knock the green Igor off his path if it's a bad RNG. So, we mentioned before there are no blue balls on Aga 1, which means there are no blue balls on Aga 2 either.
Makes life just a little bit easier. Every once in a while, you'll get a really nice couple of first patterns, and you can do a double, triple, but more often than not, you're going to see about 3 cycles on that one.
And Jesse did get a nice 3 cycle there, and now he's going to go try and make some pork product of his choice.
Bacon, pork, or ham? Question mark. Why is there a light in the fridge? Well, have you ever tried to get into a fridge when there's not a light in it? nicely done dash poke strats here. Gets plenty of extra hits in.
Just gotta watch that he doesn't get sniped by a bat here. Alright, we're out of the woods. He can take damage from one bat. Slash was a little late to get that free hit in there, but he wants to prioritize the torch glitch anyway.
That was a very rando torch glitch.
You know, I've even seen high-level NMG runners just, you know, when they're on pace or like close to a pace, just spam that lamp and switch to the fire rod later.
Oh, sure. And when you're in a race, you're thinking, you know what, I would rather just lock it in.
Yeah, because you lose a lot more time by missing torch glitch than you do by you gain by getting that one extra hit in. And the pig is dead. Get your GGs in chat for Jesse, RadicalSniper99, who will cross the bridge momentarily. As Bread is hooking to the validation chest and about to fight a geometry wizard and a pig on his own.
Yeah, Moldorm, too, was not really cooperating for either of our runners. He seemed to get a little more away from Bread than he did from Jesse, but just a matter of degree at that point. He wasn't really cooperating for either of them.
We're joined by our winner of today's race, GG Jesse.
Thank you, GG. Ooh.
Okay, so yeah, I didn't see what happened on your first Aga fight. Oh, okay. So actually, for your first Aga 2 pattern, you did get the triple, but the first hit only counted as one, or the first 2 hits only counted as one, which is unfortunate.
No, I thought I only got a double. Anyway, I don't think I got all 3. I missed with one of the balls. That was all on me.
Yep.
It wasn't an overlap shot. At least from what I thought. I thought I missed with 1 and hit with 2 and then hit 3 and then 1. So
I believe you because I have goldfish brain. So
it's okay. Hey, as long as I'm hitting 3 cycle, I don't mind too much on Aga 2. Like 2 cycle gets hairy no matter how you look at it. So as long as I can keep it to a 3, I'll be happy.
So, Moth Death notwithstanding, how were your feelings on the rest of that run?
Moth's a jerk, I'll just say that much. I can take him or leave him. The rest of the run, you know, apparently squirrels don't like me today. Generally okay. Besides that, I have a 117 in me. It's just a question of when at this point. So, yeah. Besides the death, I'm fine with the run. I took some extra, like, time on some of the stuff. Getting the mushroom, I've been trying to drop it in this route. A couple of other little moments, I was like, okay, I had the race up, and I was just like, okay, I've got a little bit of time here. So I can be a little more cautious in the race.
And that is some splody bacon there for Bread. Go ahead and get your GGs in chat there as well. Gonna wrap this up with a 123.08.86. So 09 on our timer on this screen. Nice.
So we'll see if Bread's up for an interview here.
There we go.
Hello, Bread. GG.
Oh,
GG.
yeah. Yeah, GG's. Yeah, thieves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thieves Attic. That's a rough spot, and you didn't have the floor open, so you couldn't save the 20 or 30 seconds going back. So
Yeah, it wouldn't have felt as bad if at least the floor blew up. It's like, I mean, it still sucks, but at least it's maybe recoverable. And also, I don't know why suddenly Brain switched to Rando at the start of Thieves. I went, wait a second, why am I opening? Never mind.
Why is this 20 rupees?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you did teach me something though. I did not know that there were bombs in the dam.
That's one of
Yeah.
those rare ones. I think the only time I've ever pulled that vanilla bomb there is ALttP online, actually. The co-op route. I've used that spot to get bombs, and I think that's the only one I'm aware of, like, when I would actually pull that chest. But it does have value.
Yeah, I had 0 bombs going. I was like, well, I could grab a bomb pot, or I could just grab the 3 bombs from this chest right now and just not worry about it.
Yeah, there's the one like right before Phelps, and then the one right in the start, actually. That
Yeah.
that long room. There's that
Yeah, right
one
before
right
the
above the
small
key.
key.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I mean, also with it being vanilla preset, it's not like it's much of a time commitment picking up that chest because it's just right there in front of you. So it's just like, yeah, whatever. I'm at 0 bombs. I'll just grab it.
Yeah.
So, little different of a route than you normally take, Bread. Doing Swamp first. How do you like it?
I mean, the extra heart for Viddy is nice. I mean, that's really the main thing. The extra heart for Viddy and hookshotting across the gap, hookshotting the gaps in Mire. That's really the main difference, honestly. It feels nice. I have no idea which route is actually faster.
I think I know, Sean, you were saying like exactly the timings of getting hook early and all that, but I think it's comfort level.
Yeah, so initially the swamp route loses, I believe, about 6 seconds, but you can make about 4 of them up just by having the hook shot in certain rooms. And then that extra 2 seconds comes from swamp route being able to skip screens like Tiny Warp Dick that like the Zora can just get in your way, and then you're pretty much locked into a time loss there. It's pretty good RNG for Jesse, so he didn't lose the time in any of those splits, but like you said, the squirrels were being squirrely.
Yeah, luckily getting Ether, they were nice. I've had too many runs where Mire 2 has been an adventure. I've realized I can do it pretty well with just Fire Rod and no sword beams, but it's not fun. It's a lot more. I feel like it's tighter to get it, and we missed the CR number. I'm disappointed.
I guess it's part of the benefit if you go swamp into Mire is that you're just fluting straight there after swamp, probably. So
yeah,
you're very likely to have just full HP and beams ready to go, instead of probably maybe taking a hit on the mountain because squirrels or rocks just being a dick.
So
yeah, that's why it makes so much more sense in NMG.
So one of the time saves that you can do with hook though is that you can use the hook climb for the ladder on the mountain, especially the big ladder. It saves a lot of time.
That's fair, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I've been focusing on the bomb climbs there for both the initial Hera climb and then again for Ether Tablet. It's not necessarily it's not as fast, but I think it's a good middle ground. And as the more I do it, the more comfortable I've gotten with like trying to get as much time as possible out of it.
I still
Alright,
personally don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of flying by my pants still. NMG.
Yeah, I
For
saw
flying
you.
by the seat of your pants, it's been pretty good.
I saw you do a fake powder and then get the recovery before the spooky action rooms.
I did not. I completely forgot that it broke it. That's basically why.
Yeah,
I was like, oh wait, oh shit.
yeah. So I
alright.
mostly see people do the fake powder after the spooky because there's an anti-fairy pre-viddy.
Yeah. Part of my thinking at that point was also, well, I already died in Thieves. Unless something horribly wrong goes happens to Jesse, I may as well just try not to die for the rest of the run.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I was thinking similarly, like, don't die again. It was bad enough dying to Moth. Let's not add another one to the list.
Alright, I guess that's everything. So yeah, congratulations to Jess for winning this one, and also congratulations to Bread-kun for actually being super close. Also big thanks to both our commentators, me and Diem, and secretly a Sliva. So I think that's it for NMG for today. So we will raid the main channel. There is a Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup 2023 bronze match between Nox and Dark Sky. So yeah, that's it. Thanks everyone, and see you later. Bye!